Hi guys, I'm Randy from Essex Fashion House, where we sell pre-authenticated designer bags and where I also teach you a little bit about what to look for when you're buying secondhand so you can make sure that you're not buying a fake. In today's video, I'm going to show you an authentic Prada Double bag next to a fake Prada Double bag. I'll compare all the details for you so you can see just what a real one looks like and how good a fake one can look like. Now, I already did a video on the fake one, just showing all the details on that, but now that I have a real one in the same size, I want to do a little comparison for you. These are the bags. I put a little poll on my Instagram story asking which one you guys thought was fake and which one was real. And 80% of the people who voted on the poll thought that this was the authentic Prada Double bag. Well, guess what? This is the real one. This is a fake, and when I first saw it, I thought it was real too, but I quickly found out that it was not. So keep watching if you want to know how you can tell a real from a fake Prada Double bag. I thought I'd just start out with a shot of the two of them next to each other. As you can see, the size is pretty similar. If you pay really close attention, you can see that the genuine one over here is slightly taller than the fake one. It's very close to being the same height though. And they look quite similar. They both have the triangle logo at the front. They both have this shape where the handles are attached. They both have the luggage tag, which is actually not a luggage tag, but a picture tag where you're supposed to put something that means a lot to you. I believe that was the intention of this originally. And if you look at the back of the bags, you will see that they also look very similar. Again, they both have this little thing here that you can attach to the straps holding them together. The handles have the same here and look very, very similar. They're both Saffiano leather, or at least something that looks like Saffiano leather. And the handles look very similar. I think the handles on the real one are slightly longer than the ones on the fake one, but other than that, they look very similar. So now I'm just going to show you the details up close, because you really have to get into the details to really see how different these bags are. If you look inside of the bags, you will see that they both have the same layout, of course, with the two compartments divided by this pocket that you can open up. And this is the fake one, and this is the real one. So as you can see, very, very similar. So the number one thing I will say about these bags is that I won't be able to show you this on video, but when you touch these bags, you instantly feel a difference. This one feels soft, like leathery soft and lovely. It feels so nice. The handles feel soft and buttery. This one is way more stiff, and the leather doesn't feel nearly as soft. It feels more plasticky. And now I will say one thing, because Saffiano leather is obviously coated leather and it's very durable. So I know a lot of people don't like it because it is a bit plasticky, because it doesn't feel soft like normal leather. But you can still tell that this is real leather, whereas on this one, it feels a bit more questionable. And I know you can't really see that on the video, but that's what it feels like. So that's one thing to look out for if you ever buy a bag. It's like, just feel it. See how the leather feels. Does it actually feel like leather? Does it feel like the right kind of leather? And then the other thing I will say straight away is that, now that we're talking about leather, the lining is supposed to be smooth Napa leather. And here in the real one, you can feel this is so soft. It is the softest smooth Napa leather ever. That's just how Napa leather is. And this one, it's a used bag. They both are, which is why they're great to compare. And you can see that this one has wear here and there on the leather. That's what it looks like when leather wears. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a used bag. On the fake one, which is also a used bag, you will see that the leather inside of it is all torn up here. You know, real leather is not supposed to do that. There are certain types of leathers that are considered real leather, such as bonded leathers, which means it is actually made from leather, but it's lots of little bits of leather squished together to make one big piece of leather. So it's not a quality product. And I don't know if the bonded leather could possibly do this, but this is exactly what my faux leather jacket looked like when I was a teenager. This is not real leather, and it doesn't feel like it either. Again, it feels very plasticky. So again, use your hands, feel your way around the bag and see if it feels right. Because Napa leather is supposed to be soft. This is just like touching plastic, basically. Now, let me show you one of the main things that definitely shows you that this bag is fake. And it's something that when I did my first video of this bag, just showing all the details, I didn't even notice this. I don't think I even mentioned it because I'm pretty sure I only noticed it after. And now I feel so silly for not having noticed it. So when you look at the logo at the front of the bag, you have this beautiful triangle. It's supposed to look like this. It has the little metal trim around it. It has the letters beautiful and straight. Of course, the font has to be right. The R has to have the little indent here. The A have to have the crispy little point at the top here. It has all of it. You have Milano here. You have the established date here, and then you have this little shield. And I'll show you that up close. So this is what the real one looks like. And then here is the fake one. So look closely at this. So first of all, this actually looks really good when you first look at it. It's very shiny. It's got the gold around here. The letters are nice and straight. The R has the little indent. The A's even have kind of a tip up here that points to the side. I do think it looks slightly different with the tips than on the real one. But the biggest thing is when you look at the shield, not only is the shield not correct or detailed enough, but it's actually upside down. I can't believe I missed that. But I mean, if there ever was a sign that this is a fake, then that is the biggest one. I'll put the pictures on the screen of these next to each other just so you can compare, because it's quite hard to show these right next to each other up close on the video, but I'll add the pictures for you. All right, I've just taken the luggage tags off because I'm gonna show you them up close next to each other. That's a little bit easier to do when they're off the bags. So another thing I've noticed on these two is that when you look at the shape of this part right here, where the handles are sewn onto the bag, this is what the real one looks like. And the fake one looks very similar, but is somehow more narrow. And I will say one thing, the stitching on this fake one is actually really, really good. It's very straight, but that leads me to another thing that's wrong with it. So on the genuine Prada Double bags, when you look at the stitching up here, you will notice that it is actually crooked. So every stitch has a slight lean to it. I hope you can see that, otherwise I'll add a picture on the screen to make sure you can see. So instead of it just being a straight line of stitches, every single stitch has a slight lean to it. And so when you look at the fake one, you will see these are actually all straight stitches. You'd think that would be a good thing, wouldn't you? But it is not. This is not what it's supposed to look like. That's not how Prada do their stitching at all. So that is another really good thing to look for. This one also has a cut here in the so-called leather, and you can see someone tried to repair it. It has like a shine to it, like they glued it down. Again, this is not what leather is supposed to do. I mean, I know that leather can definitely get cuts and tears and scratches and everything, but that's not what that's supposed to look like. Another thing, when you look at the sides here, so you have this big button here that you can open to make the bag a little bit more spacious. And these are coated in leather, which looks super nice. It's lovely. And when you look at the fake one, it's also coated in leather. And for the longest time, I thought you can't pull these apart. They're stuck, completely stuck. I did finally just went and did it. I had to pull so hard to get these apart. They're not supposed to be like that. You're supposed to be able to easily pull them apart and easily close them. Of course, they can come apart on their own, but it should still be something that's somewhat easy to do. And these are not. They are ridiculously hard to open and close. That's another issue with this fake one. So I've just grabbed the camera off the tripod. I hope it won't be too shaky for you, but I want to show you some details up close where I really need to get close here. So if you look at this little button, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the font on these. So here's a little gold tone button, and you'll see it says Prada on it ×2. And the writing is supposed to be quite small. So this is the real one, it's quite small. If you look at the fake one, I don't know if this shows up in the camera, but first of all, the button seems kind of bumpy. It's not smooth like the other one, and the Prada writing is way too big. So it just doesn't look as crisp and as nice. Again, I'll show you two pictures of these next to each other on the screen as well, just so you can compare them. So that's another good sign of a fake. Let's take a closer look at the hang tags here. I hope that car alarm in the background isn't too loud. There's quite a bit of traffic today as well, but hopefully it'll be okay. So let's compare these two. So straight off the bat, they look quite similar. Let's see, if we put them on top of each other, you can see that they are actually pretty much the same size and pretty much the same shape. And if we look at the stitching, and so as you can see on the brown one, the stitching looks nice. On the green one, it's a bit more uneven. You can see there's a big bumpy part here. If you look at the other side, you'll see up here it has a big thing of thread that's just kind of coming out there, which doesn't really look very nice. Other than that, they are very, very similar. The one thing I will say is that I think that this flap here inside seems to fit perfectly, whereas this one is a bit smaller and like doesn't quite fit perfectly into the shape underneath it. And if you open them up, this is what the fake one looks like, and this is what the real one looks like. So very similar. And then another thing I noticed straight off the bat, which I don't know if you can see this in the video footage, but the gold tone on the hardware is actually different. So this is like a warmer shiny gold. This is kind of a colder shiny gold. And it's not that that's a specific sign that it's a fake, it's just that, because obviously hardware can have different colors and finishes and stuff, but this is just something that's different on this from the other one. And then if we look here on the buckles, you will see that they both have Prada on them. And again, you will see that on the real one, this one over here, Prada is quite small and very crisp. And on the fake one, it's slightly bigger and not as crisp. So again, there's a font issue here. And then if we look on the other side, you've got Prada here. And I will say one thing, even on the real one, the Prada here looks kind of the teeniest bit crooked. Even on high-end designer bags, it's all handmade, and it's not always 100% straight. And if you look at the Prada on this one, it actually looks decent. It's a bit more crooked. The letters have kind of lost their color a little bit. The gold is kind of worn off. I'm not saying that won't happen to this as well, but of course if it's low quality, it might happen faster. And then the most interesting thing about these actually is that if you look at this part on the real one, this part is blank, but on the fake one, they put another Prada thing on it. And again, with the kind of font that looks a little bit off. And again, I'm not saying that they weren't made anywhere they didn't have Prada stamped in there, but it just doesn't look right on this one. So those are the little picture tags. Other than that, they look very, very similar. Another thing I've actually seen sometimes is that you'll have a fake bag, but they'll have gotten like a genuine one of these or a genuine one of other things to put inside. You know how they come with the authenticity cards and stuff, but obviously an authenticity card can just be taken out of one bag and put into another, so that doesn't really prove anything about the bag. Now let's move inside the bags. We've got Prada here on the pocket. Again, each little letter is put on individually. Should be pretty straight, although this one, the P is actually a little bit off. But again, handmade, it's not always completely straight, but it'll have the right font and everything. So that's what that looks like. On the fake one, we have the same thing, but very crooked. So if you see that R, that's basically jumping off the line. It's just not up to standard. And then the other thing that's a big red flag as well for this model is that, so when you open up this pocket, it's supposed to have Prada made in Italy stamped inside with gold, and it looks like this. But on the fake one, there's nothing. So that's another good indicator that this is a fake bag. So if you look inside the real bag here, you'll see this little made in Italy tag. It's black, it has white writing on it. It should be inside sewn into the part here next to the pocket. And the fake one
actually has one. It looks slightly different though. It's kind of the opposite way up and it's also slightly bigger. Inside the inner pocket, there should be a little tag. This little white tag, you can see it right there. It has a number on it. I don't think I can show you that exactly with the camera, but there's a little white tag with a number on it. The fake one has one as well, as what you can see in there. Again, it's impossible to show this on the camera with the number. All right, so I know it's pretty hard to see those little white tags because they're hidden away so well, but that's also part of why it's so impressive that this fake one actually has the tag. They'll have a number on it. It's not always the same number. I'm not quite sure what exactly they mean. I think it's the control numbers from the factory, so they might be different based on where the bag was made. But that's another thing to look out for. Make sure it's there. But even if it is there, it still doesn't mean that your bag is authentic. I say this is a good fake, even though now looking at it up close, you see there's so many different things that stand out from the real one. But if you just take a quick look at it, you wouldn't necessarily know that it was fake. So there's lots of stuff to look out for.
That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you have any good tips on how to tell the difference between a real and a fake Prada bag, leave them in the comments. Also, let me know if you like these kinds of real versus fake videos, and I'll see if I can do some more for you if you like them. See you next time.